Hello, hello, hello. This is LouiseHicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. How is everybody? Okay. Thank you all for the support, all the love, and please share, share, and give it a thumbs up. And by all means, give it a like and leave your comments because we're going to talk about Blacks can no longer vote for nothing in return. It's all about quid pro quo. It's a necessity because we've been giving away our votes for so long, years and years and years and years. And what have we got in return? Everyone should want an investment or return upon their investment. So if we're going to vote, what are we going to vote for? Is there a Black empowerment agenda? If not, we need to be demanding that there is one because it's time. And again, I'm LouiseHicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Please share. Please give it a thumbs up. Give it your likes. And by all means, leave your comments. And I'm going to talk about Blacks can no longer vote and get nothing in return. We must start demanding and hold these candidates accountable. And now that President Biden has passed the torch to Kamala Harris, it's time that we ask the right questions because I've been seeing her out here talking, and she's been at a sorority. However, I have not heard anything about her agenda for Black America. And as you know, she did say at one time that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for Blacks. And also, President Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for him at the time, that we weren't Black. So when are we going to stop allowing these people to insult us and we continue to vote for them and we ask for nothing in return for our vote? So we have to realize now it's time for us to put our votes on sale and ask about the debt, that debt being reparations. So let me share this video. My being from California, living there over 50 years, knowing who Kamala Harris really is, I'm not going to vote for her unless she gives an agenda and let us know what she's going to do specifically for the Black community in terms of empowerment, because it's long overdue. And if she wants the Black vote, we should put some demands upon her to see if she's going to give us the same old rhetoric that she gave before when she was running for president. So let's watch a video that I have here by a reporter in California, Laura Diaz. And let me share that. And I'm going to stop a little bit along the way. I'm not going to be in long. And I'm going to give my perspective on my thoughts about what some Blacks are saying in Los Angeles about voting for Kamala Harris, now that she may be the nominee for the Democratic Party. So let's share this, and you can give me your comments as well. We're going to see what some of the Los Angeles residents have to say.
Well, Harris is the talk of the town, especially here in California, where her political career began.
Fox 11's Laura Diaz is live in Inglewood. Laura? Well, Christine, if Democrats are to win, they will heavily reside on the shoulders of the black community. So today we went out and we spoke to people, everything from people who were talking to us on the streets to private Zoom meetings that were held, and plans were being made.
Better than what it is.
What I wish we would get away from is the speech about color. It should be about your character and what are you doing for our people.
Okay, now, this lady made a significant point, and so did Laura Diaz, the reporter, when she first started, because she said that if Democrats are going to win, they need the black vote. And if they need the black vote, we need to let the Democrats know that our black vote is not to be given away. It's for sale. We want to know, what are you going to do for the black community to get our vote? And we must look at what the Democratic Party, who is in power, is doing right now. They act like the illegal migrants or citizens. And look what they're doing in Chicago, New York, and other cities as well. These migrants have come here illegally, and they're getting all kinds of money. And who's in power now? The Democrats. So why are we going to sit back and allow Kamala Harris to get our vote and demand nothing, as she already has told us that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for Blacks? However, she passed a bill, she and President Joe Biden, to specifically do something for the Asian community when they had that shooting. And Blacks have been shot multiple times by the police. We just had a shooting just recently of this Black woman, and for no reason. Accordingly, the police officer has been fired or dismissed, and probably only because of the heat being turned up now, because we are just a few months away from the actual election coming up in November. So what are we going to do? This Black woman said it. We got to get away from just voting to be voting just because they are a Democrat. And there's no policy, there's no agenda for us, but there've been an agenda for everybody else. So what about Blacks who have been voting Democratic forever and ever and ever? And what have we got in return? And you can't listen to a lot of these people out here, such as Al Sharpton, Joy Reid, Roland Martin. They're all out here pandering for the Democrats. But what we have to ask and say to ourselves, it's up to us to decide who we're going to vote for. It's not up to these newscasters. It's not up to these actors. It is up to us, because they act like the average person doesn't have the critical thinking skills or the intelligence to decide who they want to vote for based on what they're offering us as Black people. And that's what we got to start realizing. Nobody should be able to decide for you who to vote for. If they don't have a policy or an agenda, after all these years that Blacks have been voting for Democrats, they prance around in your church and you don't see them again until 4 years later. So we have to stop and think about quid pro quo. It is a necessity, and it should be a necessity. Where is the Black empowerment agenda? And that goes not just for Kamala Harris, that goes for the Republican side as well, Donald Trump. Neither one will get my vote if there is not a Black agenda as to what you're going to do for the Black community. My vote is for sale. Quid pro quo. And if you're not going to do anything for the Black community, you're not going to discuss the debt that is owed for our ancestors. We are heirs to that debt, reparations. If you're not going to discuss that, you will not be getting my vote. It is time that we as Black people stand up, and speak out, and hold these politicians accountable. And that includes the Congressional Black Caucus as well. What are they doing? We have to realize that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. And that love has to be collectively carried out amongst us as Black people, whereas we are connecting the dots, standing together politically and demanding if illegal migrants can come here and demand and be put up in luxury hotels and given our tax dollars, and we are fearful to ask and demand something for our vote, we have the problem. And that's what we have to realize. And I know a lot of these Black women are out here pandering for Kamala Harris, but I am from California, and I know what Kamala Harris did in California. She was responsible for the truancy bill out in California, and I'm going to talk about that in another podcast, where a Black woman was handcuffed and taken to jail because her sickle cell anemia daughter was not able to go to school. That was part of Kamala Harris's truancy law. And also there was a Black man out there that went and spent 6 years, I'm going to talk about that in a different podcast, 6 years when he was innocent, and he sued San Francisco and won a settlement of, I believe it was in excess of $13 million. And that was under Kamala Harris's watch, as I believe she was the Attorney General then. So we have to stop giving away our vote and make these politicians accountable. And that goes for Republicans and Democrats, both of them. And again, I'm LouiseHicks, your host of this podcast, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Please subscribe, leave your comments, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and always remember, I talk about this scripture all the time, 2 Timothy 1:7, where it says, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. And notice power comes before love. So if you don't have any power, it's very difficult to love one another, to share your love, because power is so important within the Black community. And we have to exercise that power and love and be of sound mind and do our due diligence. So let's continue with this video, because this lady said a mouthful. We got to stop voting just because you are Black or you're pretending to be Black when it's convenient for you. We have to stop that. We have to vote on policies and what you're going to do for the Black community.
From the streets of Crenshaw off the air.
Radio Free 102.3 KJLH.
To radio station KJLH in Inglewood on the air.
Enter stage left, Kamala Harris.
Come on.
Kamala Harris, as presumptive Democratic nominee for president, was all the talk.
Plot twist!
Plot twist.
Plot twist! Plot twist!
Popular radio DJ Tammy Mack fielded calls during her afternoon drive show.
A cross-section of people calling in with opinions of Harris and her likely history-making run as president. The airwaves lighting up.
I am done with the Democratic Party. They need to learn to put the country and the people first.
Everywhere I went, a lot of chatter about this mysterious Zoom call. Thousands of women zoomed in a movement called Win with Black Women. Our DJ and caller knew all about it.
The Zoom call that happened with over 44,000 black women last night.
We have time for divisiveness. We have got to get her in there.
Back to that highly attended Zoom call, I'm told that it included a lot of heavy hitters who were invited to it. But when I tried to drill down and get more information, I was told that people have been told not to talk about the meeting, that they're still trying to figure the details out for their plans. But 44,000 women, that's pretty impressive. Marla, Christine?
Laura, as we talk to different people in the black community, you're finding different answers.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit surprised. I thought that it might be one way of looking at a potential person to vote for. But actually, we talked to quite a few people today who were Trump supporters, as well as people who supported the Democratic ticket. So perhaps we're seeing that, you know, people are expanding out and not necessarily voting the way their parents or grandparents voted.
And it should also be noted, Laura, that today Harris out fundraised Donald Trump's record that he did soon after his conviction. He raked in almost $53 million in one day, and in 24 hours since this announcement yesterday, she brought in $81 million. That is a whole lot of cash, a whole lot of support behind her.
Yes, energized for sure. And I guess we'll find out in the long run what that means to the outcome of the contest.
All right. Thank you so much, Laura.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Laura. I remember Laura, she's been out there reporting for quite some time now. So this is very interesting because these 44,000 women, KJLH, I believe that's the station too, that's owned by Stevie Wonder, if I'm not mistaken. Because like I said, I'm from California and I know all about KJLH and Tammy Mack and the others out there on KJLH. And this Zoom Win with Black Women, 44K of you. My thing is, if you're going to win Kamala Harris with Black women, what are you going to offer the Black community? I remember everything was polarized when President Obama was running for president. And it was interesting because it seems like Tammy Mack and KJLH was really excited and all happy and everything. And they got this one call that said she's not really thinking basically about the Democratic Party, because why are we continuing to get a slap in the face from the Democratic Party? And we keep voting for them over and over and over without demanding something in return. Quid pro quo. That's what we got to start looking at. We can't go out here and just vote on emotions, and just because this woman is has a Black Jamaican father. That's not the issue. The issue should be, what policies are you going to have a platform on that will empower and get the debt paid to the Black community? That should be important to us. And if that's not important, there is something wrong with us, because we keep voting for these people, and look at the situation that we're in right now. Black people are at the bottom economically, and we've been in this country almost 500 years through slavery, through Jim Crow, mass incarceration. And believe me, Kamala Harris should know a lot about mass incarceration because she was the Attorney General in California. And I know because I lived there, and I know what she did and what she didn't do. And She helped to keep a lot of Black people behind bars. I do know that. So this is something that we need to think about as the Black community, as that lady that called in and said she's basically sick of the Democrats. And rightfully so, because you see them in the churches 4 years, and then the next 4 years, and then the next 4 years, and the next 4 years, and the Black community still in the same boat. So Kamala Harris needs a wake-up call. And she needs to know about the words quid pro quo. Black votes are for sale. Where is the Black empowerment agenda? And if she's not presenting that, what are we voting for? We've seen what the Democrats have done. We had how many years of President Obama? 8 years. And where are we now? So let's give it some critical thinking skill here. Let's put our critical thinking skills on. And let's really give this some thought, because it's time that we stop giving away our votes to these Democrats. And I'm not saying to give it to the Republicans either, because if they don't come with an agenda and they aren't willing to talk about the debt that is owed to the heirs of the slaves, the African slaves, I will not be voting for either one. And that's my perspective. And again, I'm LouiseHicks, your host of Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. And this is something that we need to take very serious, because the younger generations, they really seem to get it. Many of them, the Gen Xers, the millennials, and the Zs, because I've heard some of them express their perspective, and they're not buying the BS from the Democrats. And we've seen, and they keep insulting us too, like Joe Biden. Again, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black. He told no other ethnic group, if you don't vote for me, you're not white. If you don't vote for me, you're not Asian. If you don't vote for me, you're not Hispanic. But they think they can say anything to us, and we'll just go right ahead and vote for them. I didn't, and I won't, unless they have an agenda and they have some policies that they can discuss that will empower the Black community and that will pay the debt that is owed, because you're not giving Black people anything. We're heirs. So give it some thought. And these Black women that said, win with Black women, what are you winning? Because if you don't have an agenda and you don't have any demands, you're not winning anything. It will be the same old soup, as they say, warmed over, if Kamala Harris wins and there are no demands. She's not held accountable to the Black community like she is with the other communities that they have given to that aren't even citizens, the migrants, the LGBTQ community. They've given reparations to others. Do your homework, do your research. And for those of us who are from California, if you did your research, you know what Kamala Harris did in California as an attorney general. She did nothing for the Black community. I lived there, and I'm speaking from experience and exposure. And as a 73 years of age woman, this mad Black woman, which is for motivated and determined in supporting and helping our Black community to a higher level of consciousness so that we will stop just giving away our votes and getting nothing in return. So again, that's my perspective on the election 2024. By all means, I always tell you, your power lies within you. Let it loose because your destiny is your command. And again, LouiseHicks, Aim to Purpose Spiritual Empowerment Hour. Share this video, give it a thumbs up, leave your comments, and give it a like. And because I'd love to hear from you. And with that said, always remember again, your power lies within you, and let it loose. Until next time, much love.